In the space, betwixt the space, we find secrets, mysteries, and truths. There is a place within this space that exists outside any realm, yet is connected to them all by the aether that binds all particles to the magics of life. And by means of the aether's spark, it draws those whose questions are destined to find answers, ferrying them into the folds between worlds. Join us tonight in a place called the Strandager House, tucked inside one such fold where the aetheral spark transports folks in order to have their fortunes told. So, it seems that when we rippled in from the aether, only our images came through. So many people could not hear all about the magics that have been gifted to you, Domand. Tell them a little bit about your world again, the things that you told me.
I am from a world unfortunately bereft and seized by war, ravaged by beings from far planes and portals between. Strange magics is my world. We do not have the cartomancy, as you have mentioned, or the strange twists of fate. Our magics are gifts, given freely from one to another, be it strength of body or strength of mind. When someone gifts you their aspects, it is then on you to protect them. And in return, you are given.
And who gifted you, Domand? You say you practice magics.
I was given by many dedicates my skills and my talents, but I was chosen at an early age by a creature of great power with connection to water. I was chosen by an element, but we knew not how it would manifest for some time.
I see. And has this element given you what you need, or are you still vexed in some ways in your world?
A tough choice. To say yes would make me a liar. To say no would make me a heretic. I would say instead that the element has always given me the opportunity, and that as a man I have often failed.
I see. So the powers are strong there in your world, controlling in some ways. I'm wondering, then, since you seem to be one who appreciates those who have age to them, if maybe this antique set of cards that is connected to long histories might hold within them some messages for you, maybe from your element even, ones that they haven't shared yet. But
I'd be
first,
curious to find out more for certain.
I need to see what these cards know of you. So let us begin with, I see something very intriguing here. This is the 9, we shall call that the reaping card, the harvest card. The 9 represents bounty. On your world, are you experiencing some form of bounty, some surplus of riches and blessings?
Of a fashion, yes. The tides of war come and go as they may. But on my world, I am currently in pursuit of more, but gaining much nonetheless.
Ah, yes. In clubs there, it ties us to that spirit, that belief that you have. You choose not the path of heresy, and that is because it is important to you not to. And we're going to stick with that connection. Tell me, what is it that brings you strength? Because here I see strength in this too. I see a bit of connection, probably, most likely to your element. What strengths do they give you?
My strength comes from those willing to grant me their own, to make me a rune lord, more than I am, more than one man, an army incarnate. My strength comes from my fortitude of belief, the firmness with which I know that mine is a righteous cause.
That makes perfect sense. The cards see it now. And I see it. Well, they saw it before, but I see it now. It's that connection. You are a conduit, are you not, Domon?
Of a fashion, yes.
And through you the element speaks, and from it brings about balance. Is that what you seek? You seek to balance your world, to bring it some form of peace?
Water is the element of balance. It is both life-giving and taking, kind and calm, or raucous and wild. Water has no taming to it. It is all things balance.
Your passion for your beliefs is very, very important here, because it will bring about, worldly riches. I see worldly riches in your future. I'm not sure what they are or where they come from, but it looks like you're going to have grand success. You said you sought more. Why don't you tell your fellow travelers what that might look like? What more do you seek?
Support, strength of arms, good men or good peoples who will aid our cause and our call.
An army.
Always. Always. And allies. The fight will be hard.
But then represents an end of a cycle there, Doman. I see you reaching a crescendo. That does not mean the end for you, per se, but you will bring about the end for someone. That someone, that someone is connected to the water element. It is someone who nurtures. They will not survive this war.
Potentially my father. Though whether or not he is already lost or to be lost, I do not know. We fell out of touch, but he is a man of my own faith and belief. He raised me with the intent that I be better than I was for a long time.
Interesting. So, was he too a rune lord, as you...
No, he was a dedicate of the water itself, a person of privilege within the following.
So how many rune lords are there, Domon?
I know of 3 others myself, but that does not mean that there are not more to come, more to be found, or more to be feared. There are ill tides for such things, and war breeds necessity.
I see. Well, it is a path that you are walking, and that path is what brings about your future and the future of those in your charge. It is a path of your world. It is not a spiritual one, which is why I believe it to be connected to that war you speak of. Are you prepared to lead people to war?
I have been for most of my life. When I left home, I became a mercenary, a man of ill repute. My honor was for sale, but then I led men and discovered the strength within me to be better than I was. Then I found my way back to my calling. I am ready to lead.
Good. Because it looks like the cards, maybe channeling your element, have set forth a path for you. If you choose to take it, of course. One thing I would like to warn you of, though, and maybe you know this already, but you'll see there's at least half of the cards there are clubs. That means fire. Fire is mounting against you. And earth. Earth is currently keeping them from overwhelming you. I don't know if this is an alliance or just random chance. But be aware that there is a much larger army coming for you.
I appreciate the warning. Forewarned is forearmed, as they say in my plane. To know these things will grant me the strength to overcome them.
Excellent. Excellent. So now that I have had a chance to understand the cards, and other travelers have heard more of your place, your realm, and the cards have learned to speak your language, what questions did you bring with you for me?
I see. I need to find someone. I must know of a woman.
Okay. A woman. Will you tell me more about this woman?
Yes. She was a love of mine. Though not always the kindest to me.
She happened to make you feel, I don't know, more balanced, more open, more completed?
In a way. They're not always the best. She enlightened me to much.
Was that a passionate love, though, Dormon?
A deep one.
Because that's what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing passionate love.
Though at times one-sided, and certainly it became that way in the end.
Well, what you see before you on the table here, the King of Hearts represents you, Dormon. That is a powerful force of water, a leader of those armies. Across from you is the Four of Clubs representing her. She is full of passion, fire even. Did she oppose your element?
She betrayed me. She was not what I thought her to be.
What was she?
Unkind. In a way that I will not tarnish by repeating.
Understood. I can see that there. We see the Two of Clubs again make an appearance. That is a conduit, a communication between the two of you that turned fiery from passion and lust into burning flame. I'm guessing things that betrayal hurt you deep. It scarred you, did it not?
Yes, and triggered my path of self-destruction. Were it not for her, I would have been secure in my father's own beliefs and have found my own attunement with my element. As it was, she took me far from my true calling and led me down a path of ill repute again.
I see. Well, to find her and to right this wrong, it looks like the path is including a 3 of diamonds. 3, Domond, represents the divine, the powers that are outside of the scene, the ones that speak to you without having to show themselves. And diamonds typically refer to the world, the physical realm, the element of earth. Do you know of a divine power of your realm that is aligned with earth?
There are beings of great strength, earth-sworn. Though divine is something, I think, not always relevant. There are beings of great power nonetheless.
Well,
Yes, I think I know of something like that.
one of those beings of great power is harboring this person. That being is bringing about their protection from your sight. Whatever means you're using to seek her are unsuccessful because of it. Find it, and you will find her. Ooh. And an eternal connection. You see the Eight of Spades here. The Eight of Spades represents eternity, someone that you cannot get from your mind, someone who will be with you always. It sounds like she is that someone.
In part, yes. I suspect she is.
It is in the cards, Domon. You will find her among the Earthspawn, protected by one with powers that go beyond that realm, stretch into the divine or into the ether or wherever it is that the element grants you blessings and power. Maybe one that has amassed it from, you said, dedicants? Is that
Yes.
the term you use?
Dedicates, yes.
Yes. They may have many of those in order to reach that state of power. But I'm guessing it will not be without cost. So, I do encourage you to be conscious of the cost.
I understand. I think, anyway.
Do you have a thought of where in your realm such a place might be, such a person might exist?
An idea more than a thought. There is another, like myself, Craven, a warrior of great repute. He is a rune lord too, though in his force is an earth sworn of great power. Potentially she hides there, guarded by a rune lord whose power is from dedicates, protected by a blessed person of the element of earth. That would make sense.
Excellent. It sounds like there's many intriguing people in your world. Maybe someday, when I am allowed to travel once again, I might seek it out.
There are places and portals that allow such things. You would do well in such a case to come find me. Such things in my world. There are dangers for travelers and the people who go in between. People get lost in such portals
I imagine
or taken.
I myself have never ventured into any such portals. The Aether has kept me safe from such things. I noticed though, there's something vexing you. I can see it on your face. There's a worry about you, Domon. What is it that you worry about?
My father.
You speak of him fondly, but it sounds almost mourning. Does your father still live?
I do not know, but he was not a young man when I last saw him, and with war, I do not know if he still lives. I mourn for the lost time, and I mourn for my lost father that I do not know.
Ah. Well. Oh. It looks as though the element of water has granted you a new beginning when it comes to your father and his state. The ace represents new beginnings. Hearts is the suit of water, which is important to you, Dormond, I see. So, I think things are looking up. What else would you like to know about your father?
Did he love me? Does he love me if he is still alive? And did he recognize that my failings were that of a brash youth, spurned and spurred on by a woman?
I don't know if the cards know that much of your father's heart, but I can see here that your father sees your path and what you have gained as being how would one say, a bounty of riches, as that 10 of diamonds returns to us. He has seen your exploits. He has approved of them. This should be a good sign for you, Dormond.
Yes, deeply so. It means that my father either lives or lived long enough to see me become the man he hoped I might.
Yes. Somewhere, whether it be here or from beyond the veil, he watches over you. And I hope that brings you some sort of solace.
It does.
Let's
And
see what else we have here. He walks a path of his faith. A strong path, a passionate and spirited path.
Yes.
I wonder if that is why you have not seen him. He is busy, just as you are.
Yes, that would make sense. There are places I have not returned in some time. Places I have thought myself too sullied to walk.
Well,
Mayhap it is one of those.
let us see. Oh, what do we have here? We have hit 5 retweets of our Go Live tweet, which means we have unlocked a bonus question for you, Dormond, from the cards. Let us give our audience a minute to weigh in on what question it will be that they answer. Audience, fellow travelers, please follow that link and go off into the aether and answer simply which question shall we ask the cards about Dormond? So, while we wait for our fellow travelers to weigh in, let's see one more thing about your father and where he might be. Oh, now this could be interpreted a number of ways. He is eternally with the water. I don't know if that means that he has never strayed and he still lives, or if your world has some sort of afterlife, if he has become one with the water element in which you serve. But it is likely one or the other.
This could be true. There is a hope that we are all connected in such a way to the water again. When my father lived a good and honest life, his soul would be secure.
Excellent. Excellent. I do believe his soul is secure within your element, if that is a good thing in your world.
Deeply so. One could hope for nothing more if one follows. Anyway.
Excellent. Tell me something, Dormon. Tell me something of this world. Is there, well, what kind of magics is it that you've been granted by the elements?
Myself, none. I'm not a mage. This can learn ways. My magics have all come from those who have seen my cause as righteous, noble. They have gifted me their own strength of arms or strength of thought, their own quickness and cunning, their way with words. I have been gifted through dedication.
This is a new form of power I was not aware of.
Much. And I hope through time more. It is not without its risks. Should anything ever happen to them, my powers are lost.
I see.
And as such, we must honor and take care of our delegates entirely. If anyone were to find those had gifted me their strength of arm, for example, they would be enfeebled, unable to defend themselves, and
I see.
should they die, my magic would be lost from them.
Well then, we shall hope for long lives, very, very long lives for your dedicants. Sounds extremely important for everyone involved. What do we have here for our answer? It looks like, they wish to know about your revenge. Let us see what revenge looks like for Domont. Is this in relation to that woman?
Yes. For the lost time, the loss of love. For myself, and though I am now told he has seen and approved my father for the man I could have been, for the love that I was spurned.
Your revenge is the divine path of the water element. It is spurred on by the luck that you find within your faith and your passion. Some may call it chance, some may call it destiny. But whatever it is beyond the control of the mortals. What drives you and what will lead you to a new beginning within your element. And from there, you will restore the strength and balance, bringing it to its power. I would say, Domon, the cards are in your favor, and they would see your revenge to be righteous.
Just.
Well, thank you, Domon. And while Domond leaves us, Ben joins us. Ben, tell us a bit about your projects that you're working on, specifically this one that has to do with the Rune Lords.
Hi everyone, I'm Ben. I'm the project manager for the Rune Lords board game and Reggie Productions. So currently, the Rune Lords is a 1-to-4 cooperative board game experience. It is based around the idea of a deck builder that meets a skirmish game. So rather than the typical build your deck and done, we build our decks, which are our armies, and then we take them to the field of battle in a versus scenario. So fight with your friends or fight against them as your choice.
Lovely. Are there any updates that you'd like to give us about this game? It is live on Kickstarter, is it not?
It certainly is, yes. And we just released our first weekly unlock, which is an additional six map tiles total. So 3 two-sided map tiles. We're also doing social stretch goals, which we've just hit the first ones of as well, which are additional cards that will help make the game infinitely more replayable.
Excellent, excellent. I've included a magical portal for the travelers to follow in chat and check out your project. I do see that it is quite a lofty goal, but you have a large quantity of things to offer in return, yes?
We are trying, yes. We're trying to be a very ethical and honest first-time publisher. So we believe that one of the issues Kickstarter currently faces is that people set unrealistic low goals in order to fund fast. We don't want to do that. We want to fairly represent what it's going to take for us to make this game. We don't want to be the sort of person that has to cancel or seek additional funds again. So once we have funded the game, we're not coming back to Kickstarter. This is going to be self-sufficient and moving forwards. We might come back with other games, but the Rune Lords will never reappear in that regard.
So for our audience that travels through different means, like that of YouTube, and are watching this later, tell us a little bit about the different places you will ship, as they may hail from many different realms.
Well, we are doing most worldwide locations, actually. So we've got 3 different partners, BFI, we have Spiral Galaxy, and we also have, forgetting our American partner's name, sorry.
Quartermaster Logistics, I believe.
Check Kickstarter. Quartermaster Logistics, yes, thank you. Sorry, multiple tabs.
No worries.
Yes, so there aren't many places we won't be able to send a copy of the Rune Lords to. We're also very, very, very fond of supporting our local brick and mortar stores, which we think are an essential part of the board game industry. So we are doing a very competitive package for brick and mortar stores, which means you're likely going to be able to find it inside one of those as well.
Lovely, lovely. Well, thank you so much for your time, Ban, and do thank Domon for me the next time you see him. The rest of you travelers, let's go ahead and take a few minutes. Find a cup of your favorite drink, or whatever it may be from the bar, and we will return soon with our next traveler. See you soon. All right, so we're back. Thank you, travelers, for your patience. I hope you found what it is that sated your palate while I was away, finding the strands of aether to bring Alina to us. And while the aether brings her form and voice both instead of only one like last time, I wanted to say a little about our sponsors. This show in particular is sponsored by Third Eye Fortunes. You can get yourself a card reading from Third Eye Fortunes just by going to Facebook and looking them up, or by going out to email Jasmine, the owner of Third Eye Fortunes, at 3RDEYE fortunes@gmail.com. If you use the code WanderingDM, you will get 10% off of any digital tarot or natal chart reading. Please take advantage of that if you are curious. It would be lovely. Our other sponsors for the channel. We are sponsored by Mage Hand Press, who brings us all forms of wonderful 5th edition supplements. You can go to Mage Hand Press to their website, and you'll receive a discount at checkout by using the same code, WanderingDM. Wandering DM, specifically Simon, the purveyor of this channel, has become connected with Level Up Dice. He is a diceomancer. So please, if you can, connect with him and his links so you can maximize your discounts and raise his power as a dedicant, as Domond would say, to the diceomancer Simon. So thank you all for coming and for joining us. The last sponsor that keeps us all awake late into the evening and early in the mornings is Found Familiar Coffee. You can start your day with a cup of Found Familiar. Enough of that now, though. Let's get back to the fun and bring up on our guest. Hello, Alina.
Hi.
I see you have made your trip successfully to the Strandager house. I hope it wasn't too bumpy of a ride.
It was a bit confusing, but I'm here.
Yes, you are here, and that is lovely. You see, Alina, it is those who are brought to me. They are ones with questions that I have answers for. And, well, not me necessarily, but the powers within the cards that I wield. But before we get into that, why don't you tell your fellow travelers a little bit about where you come from? I hear it's a world called Faerun. Is that true?
That is true. I'm currently residing in a rather large city called Waterdeep. Me and my adventuring party recently just opened up a tavern, and we're doing pretty well. But our past is a little bumpy.
That seems to be a theme this evening. I hope it's not betrayal bumpy like the previous traveler.
No.
Oh, good. Good. But love is something that is vexing, maybe?
Oh, yes, I have not really much experience in that.
I see. Well, now. Let me see what I can do here. But first, the cards will need to speak with you a little bit. I got a very distinct sense that purple is something that you find enjoyable, yes?
Yes, I do.
Well, these cards are deep with purple. They have among them some interesting magics. And maybe they will vibe with you in a way that will help you find answers. So let us start with, what do I see here? Ah, Alina, tell me a little bit about yourself. Are you fairly young for your world?
Yes, actually, I'm very fairly young for my race,
Ah,
technically.
so I bet you have lots of youthful energy, don't you?
I do.
And I also see here that there's something about you that is full of like a power that is like the gust of winds blows through. Do you have a tendency to just kind of blow through an area and stir things up?
I mean, I wouldn't say blow through, but I do have a tendency to be able to clear up areas that I'm supposed to, possibly.
A bit of a whirlwind in combat?
You could definitely say that.
Ah, that's what I'm getting a feeling of here. I also see that there are elements of communication that you are working on. Is that a skill that you are still working on, or is that something that you are already practiced at?
I am working on my communication. I tend to act before I talk. Um, so I'm working on that as well as how I communicate with others, hopefully in a more delicate sense, if I get this right.
Oh, okay. Yes. I see here, though, that when it comes to your physical self, you are quite lucky, quite favored by the gods, per se. Healthy, strong.
Um, yes. I take credit for that. I worked very hard for that, not the gods.
Okay, fair enough. The seven usually represents something that is a little superhuman about yourself. You are blessed in some way. I see your path here, though, is one of, um, shall we say, a strong emotion. Maybe one of fury. Might be a good type, yes?
Yes, one of rage, perhaps you see?
Hmm. And are there other emotions, though, that you've confronted lately that have maybe changed or distracted your path?
Um, well, if we're being honest,
Who am I to tell? I'm trapped in this house in the middle of, well, everything.
I guess I should entertain you a bit then. Well, there is one person who has caught my interest,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't seen them in quite some time, but the time we did spend together was nice.
Ah.
They have. I like them
Has that given you a new perspective on life?
in a way. I find myself worrying about them more than I would worry of other people, which
Mm.
is different. Not sure if it's positive for me.
Understandably so. I see that here as the six card morphs from emotion to thought. Your worry seems to be turning to maybe rumination, and that is not healthy. What would be healthy, though, is finding how you can commit. That is what the Eight of Hearts is all about. It's committing to an emotion. I understand from these cards that maybe in combat you understand what emotions to commit to, yes?
Very much so, yeah.
But outside of it?
Outside of it, uh, my friends have put it nicely that I'm a bit of a mess.
Ah, well,
That's the nice way to put it.
I think you're quite lovely. There's nothing messy about you. No dirt, no nothing on my floor. That's quite nice of you. Very polite. However, I think that your path to getting away from that rumination is probably going to be acceptance and commitment to those emotions. That doesn't mean necessarily that they have to last forever, but don't run from them. They're always going to be around. And just because it wants to emphasize that, your thoughts will find peace if you do.
Well, I might take you up on that advice then.
I think the cards have done a good job of getting to know you, but you didn't come here just for them to do all the talking, especially about things you don't care for one way or the other. You came here because there are things on your mind, things that you need answers to, or insights at least. What are some of those things?
One of the things that's recently been on my mind is my parents.
What about them?
You see, the nice word would be separated from them when I was younger. And I've recently learned that they may be alive, possibly not well. I've heard back from my mother, but it was in distress.
Oh, that sounds worrisome. Seems to be a theme.
Yes, and I heard nothing back from my father.
Ah, equally worrisome. Silence leads way to the unknown. The unknown leads way to all sorts of possible outcomes that can tickle the worst parts of our brain and bring about nightmares.
Yes.
Well, let's see. Do you wish to intervene? Is that what you're wondering?
Yes, I do see. My mother seems to be stuck in a place we're in favor and we call the Underdark. Doesn't sound nice, does it?
No.
And her warning to me when I tried to contact her was don't come and just forget.
Well,
Which,
we have a few things here that we want to keep in mind. Oh, lots of hearts here. Emotions are going to run wild in this circumstance, so you should be careful of how you harness them. The tool here represents you. It's your connection to your parents. That's what's driving this. Or the waning connection as you grow distant due to space and time. The Jack of Hearts, that is representative of your parents. There's something new, something fresh, something in their emotions that is rising. This could be anything, but if she seemed worried, if she seemed distressed, that could be what it represents. The King here is a dominant card. Strength, power. That might be your rage. It might be the way that you can find them. Whether or not that is something you should do is yet to be seen. But I imagine it is what your instincts tell you to do.
yes.
Well then, the cards say to follow the path of your rage. see where it takes you. It has led you this far, and it will bring about a bounty of luck in that part of your being. The part that needs nurtured by emotion, by your soul. That is what I see here for you in relation to your parents. You must, as we said before, learn to accept your emotions like you accept your rage, so that you can find balance in your thoughts before you set forth on such a charged endeavor. Does
Well,
that help?
it does in a way. Not the answers I like, but rage has seen me through many things. My other emotions, not so much.
Well, to be out of balance is to be a liability. Even when you give yourself fully onto one end of the spectrum, like your rage, you understand that you will need to recuperate afterwards, yes?
Yes.
That is the balance. That is the counterweight of your rage. Each of your emotions has a counterweight, my dear Lena. And within them, if you take the time to know them and accept them for who they are, and not for what you want them to be, you can find the strength that you have not yet tapped that lives deep within your rage. I believe in you. Do you believe in you, Lena?
Now that's a loaded question.
I wouldn't be the keeper of Strandager House if I didn't ask a few loaded questions.
I guess that's fair enough.
It's also probably why they don't let me out much.
That's also fair.
Oh. So, let's talk a little bit about those emotions. You mentioned a special someone. I believe she's on your mind, is she not?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she is.
And what question do you have for the cards in relation to her and your connection?
Well, I've never pursued a romantic relationship before, but I did start with them. We went on a very lovely date to a graveyard. It was ruined by the findings of children's skulls that were left from a sacrifice, but the beginning part was pretty nice.
The dead are much quieter than the living, so if you do need privacy, I hear they keep secrets quite well.
Mm-hmm. Um, and we've seen each other a few times from there, but I don't know if it's something I should keep pursuing. We're both very busy with our lives, so. Nah.
Oh, what kind of busy keeps you apart?
Adventuring mostly. You see, there are certain quests you could say that fall into our laps that we can't necessarily ignore. I went on I believe it was 2 months long trip, and she went on her own job, and we haven't really spoken to each other since we left.
Oh, her job. You are a soldier of sorts. What is her?
She is part of a guild that looks for the betterment of the community, and she was sent out for a job by very confidential, I don't know where, and haven't heard from her since.
I see. Now, you have graced me with much knowledge of who she is, except for her name. The cards need you to speak her name before we can start.
Her name is Yagra. Yagra Stonefist.
Dear Yaga, what say we? I see here is you, the Queen of Clubs. Fire and passion course through you. You are, though, a bit gentler than you might let on. I won't tell anyone, though. And travelers do not own her reputation on Faerun. She is fierce. The 5 of Spades represents Yagra. Yagra is powerful in her own right, is she not?
Very much so.
The 5 is the power card. Ah. And what with the guild does she do again?
Well, I'm not exactly sure. She never really said. She helps people. I know it's for the good of the community and the city and Faerun in itself, but she never really explained her part in it.
Well, when you find out what it is, just know that it will be something that will take your intellectual understanding to make a connection to, but best for you is that your connection to her is one that is fiery and passionate. She sets aside that intellectual part of herself when she's around you and lets her guard down. Whether or not you see it, she does. And that's why it is so intense. Together, the two of you culminate in a powerful, fiery passion. What you do with that will be based on balance in the realm of the material plane. So what you do together, not emotionally but physically, not physically in the sense of coitus or anything so lewd, but I mean in your everyday, the part of you that sometimes gets held aside. Find balance between the two of you, your schedules, your responsibilities, and it will lead you to a new beginning. The Ace of Spades, or not spades, diamonds, the Ace of Diamonds. Aces are the cards of beginnings. Together you can have a very strong and healthy beginning. Diamonds, yes, the suit of the earth, the suit of health and strength, of wealth and fame. You can have a strong, healthy relationship that connects to all of the goals the both of you have in the material world. If you channel this passion you have for one another and find balance in order to channel it. What say you, Alina? Have the cards spoken truths to you?
It's possible.
Have you been too afraid to broach the subject so far?
I have. We never really told each other that we were exclusive or anything, and I respect her life and her decisions. But so I never really pursued it in a more serious tone, and well, now I'm hoping I get the chance to possibly do that.
Well now, something I need you to know. You see, she was the 5 of Spades. Communication is extremely important to those represented by the suit of Spades. She will need your words, not just your respect. You might need to step outside your comfort zone and tell her. Or you can start by, in the world in which you're in, taking a step to show up physically in that world and say it face to face, rather than leaving a note or words behind on your travels.
Well, I guess that would be a more powerful way of expressing one's feelings and emotion.
It is.
I am not the best with words, but I'm sure it's the thought that counts, right?
You don't have to be the best with someone who is already really good with them as she is. She will be able to understand what it is you intend. If her passion for you is as strong as the cards say, she will give you the benefit of the doubt. That much I know.
Let's hope her passion is as strong as the cards say.
Well, Alina, it has been such a wonderful time talking to you. And as Alina fades from this place, Adriana is here to tell us all about plot hunters. Regale us with that and your other projects.
Well, as Chris has told you, I am from Plot Hunters. We're an all POC LGBTQ D&D actual play stream, and we play Saturdays at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We just finished Tomb of Annihilation. We're about to start. I don't even know what we're about to start, but we're about to start something. And a lot of our Alina's and our characters' backstories are coming together somehow. Don't know how, but they're doing it. I'm a little bit scared. But I also play many other games with fantastic people. One that I'm very excited to share is the game that I DM on Sunday mornings, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, over at the Hype Goblins channel. And it is homebrew world kind of thrown together that I made, so we'll see how that goes. And I play many other games, which if you follow me on Twitter, you can find out about instead of me talking for an hour straight about them. Unless you have the time, then I will happily do it. But yeah, I do a lot of things on the internet, and I have lots of projects.
Excellent. So let me see if I can find a link to the Hype Goblin here, so I can share that portal with our travelers as well. And you said Sunday mornings?
I did, 8:30 EST. Very early.
30 EST when I'm still dreaming of breakfast. I see.
But you can cache the VODs on the Twitch as well as with Plot Hunters. Both Plot Hunters and the Hype Goblins both have YouTubes as well, where we upload our videos, our games, if they're too early or too late for you to catch, or you just can't.
That is wonderful,
want.
wonderful. Any other projects you'd like to regale us with?
There's one that I'm a part of that I'm very, very excited. We don't have a release date for it, but we're currently in production for it. It is a podcast DM'd by the amazing Pro Restarter. I'm playing as Zadia Thorntree, a centaur druid, and it is set in the Tal'Dorei world, but its rules of... What is it? I always forget the name. Is Demon Lord Slayer? I don't know.
Path of the Demon Lords?
I think so.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like
Okay.
that. I'm so sorry for those who play that game. I'm not the best with names, but it's a very interesting mix. Shit just went down, so hopefully when the podcast comes out, you'll be as excited as I am. It's an amazing, amazing game, and I love it, and I love playing with Pro Restarter whenever I can. So.
Awesome, yes. So please check out Adriana. You can find her on Twitter at Alessa Vamp. That's Vamp with 2 P's. Alessa with 1 L and 2 S's.
Yes.
Yep. So 2 S's, 2 P's, 1 L. Alessa Vamp on Twitter. And at the 2 links for the 2 shows, Saturdays for Plot Hunters at 8 p.m. and 8:30 in the morning on Sundays, both Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much, Adriana, for your time. It's been lovely having you here at the Strandager House.
It's been lovely being here, and thank you for having me.
All right. I am going to wrap up now for the evening, everyone. My name is Esmir Celestine. I am the keeper of the Strandager House. I want to thank all the travelers who joined us this evening. You all have been wonderful, absolutely wonderful. May you have a gorgeous evening. And if you need to find your fortune, you can do so with Third Eye Fortunes. Email Jasmine, the owner, at 3, the number 3, RDEYE, fortunes@gmail.com, or find them on Facebook and set up an appointment for a digital tarot or natal chart reading. You can get 10% off with the code WanderingDM. This has been another episode of the Strandager House. May fortune smile upon you.